A regiment of New Yorkers now in Puerto Rico helping to try to fix the island's devastated power grid. Just more than half the population still without electricity since Hurricane Maria more than 2 months ago. Yes, the infrastructure was not in great shape before the hurricane, but why is it taking so long to get power to the island's 3.4 million people? Eyewitness News reporter Josh Einiger live in the capital city of San Juan with the story. Josh.
Well, Bill, good evening. We're in a back neighborhood of the tourist district known as Old San Juan, and you can see there's a street light on. There is some power in this neighborhood, but then you'll be driving along and you'll find this giant mound of debris that fell when a building collapsed. And look what it fell on, a car sitting there on the street. All of this has been sitting here ever since Maria steamrolled her way through here. 2 months to the day it has been. It sure doesn't look like it's been 2 months to the day since Hurricane Maria ravaged Puerto Rico. In fact, in the city of Aguadilla, if the streets hadn't been cleared of debris, you'd think the storm rolled through just yesterday. And when it comes to the government's ability to stitch this place back together,
we are faithless because we don't know when we're going to have again.
You've lost faith.
Yes, we have.
Jayza Acosta says she's given up hope. We talked to her as her husband filled their car under a rickety gas station awning, groaning under a snapped power pole. Nothing here has moved an inch since September 20th.
I can understand her feeling.
Lieutenant Colonel Andy Olson is officer in charge of the Army Corps of Engineers in the western third of the island and showed us around the Aguadilla airport, now a bustling home base for rebuilding. In just a matter of days, this part of the Aguadilla airport was turned into a military base. You've got the Air Force up in that direction, the Army Corps of Engineers staging here for power restoration efforts. And look over here. FEMA has staged hundreds and hundreds of trailers. They are lined up as far as the eye can see, and in these trailers are meals and water that are distributed daily to people who live around here. The Army Corps has taken an increasingly visible role in the wake of the controversial, now canceled agreement with Whitefish Energy, that tiny Montana company contracted by the Puerto Rico Power Authority. But make no mistake, Olson says that isn't what slowed down the recovery. Instead, it's the sheer tonnage of work on an isolated and overgrown island more than 1,000 miles from the U.S. mainland. 55% of the island is still in the dark, but ever so slowly the number is dropping. And for Colonel Olson, who will miss Thanksgiving with his wife and 3 kids, this is the most important place he can be.
At the end of the day, we all know when we go to bed at night, there are people still in the dark. And so we have a real high-five moment, you know, grateful that we could be a part of helping provide that service. But there's a real sense of urgency to get more lights more and more turned on.
It's really something that this pile of debris with the rusted rebar, clearly very, very dangerous for anyone or any children who are walking by, that this is the least of their concerns. But the cavalry has arrived in the form of Con Ed. 100 Con Ed line workers in 75 trucks that they put on a boat and shipped here are now on the ground here in San Juan. We spoke to them, and we'll have their story when I see you on Eyewitness News at 6.